have something long to get into. That list of naughty people in the city?
You have leave?
Okay, I'm leaving.
Do you have leave?
I will. I'll be right at the top, yeah.
That's why you're all here.
You wonder why you got invited.
I haven't got the same list you do.
Uh-huh. Mrs. Claus gave me the list. All right. The hour being 7:01 p.m. on Monday, December 23rd, 2024. I'd like to call the City of Laconia City Council meeting. Before we go any further, though, I'd ask you all to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're joined this evening by Katie Gargano, our city clerk and recording secretary. I'd ask her to please call the roll.
Counselor Cheney,
Here?
Counselor Susie,
Here.
Counselor Hoffman,
Present?
Counselor Haynes,
Here.
Counselor Bogert,
Here in a room by myself.
Counselor Felch,
Here.
Mayor Hosmer.
I am present as well. We're also joined at council table this evening by City Manager Kirk Biotti and our Finance Director Glenn Smith. Before we go any further, well, actually, we are going to go further. It's the agenda item number 6. 6A is a proclamation that we have this evening, and we have some very special guests here as well. I'm going to step up to the microphone there. Certainly, I would like you all to join me. Anybody got a photo somewhere? Someone should.
Don't be afraid now.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening. Really great to have you all here. So, those of you who are fortunate enough to attend Christmas Village this year, it was once again an extraordinary event, and it's so impressive the number of people that come together to bring so much joy to so many kids in this city. And it is an event, in my mind, that defines community. Doing something for others within our community, something bigger than ourselves. And I thought we've probably gone too long without a proclamation for all of you who make it happen. So if you can bear with me just a little bit here, I will read this to you and we'll get it on the record, okay? So, a proclamation. Whereas Christmas Village in Laconia began in 1975, it was originally inspired by Santa's Village in Bristol, New Hampshire, as a way to tell the story of Noah's Ark, eventually becoming a much treasured Christmas celebration. And whereas this year marks the 49th anniversary of Christmas Village, the event is run entirely by volunteers, many of whom have been involved for decades, whose hard work transforms the community center into a winter wonderland. Whereas Christmas Village is a free celebration where children can meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, receive a gift, visit with the elves, play games, get their faces painted, and make crafts. This event is especially important for children who might not otherwise have a Christmas. And whereas approximately 25 adult volunteers and 70 children committed their time to help keep this tradition alive for the more than 1,400 people that visited Christmas Village over 4 days this year. Whereas next year marks the 50th anniversary of Christmas Village in Laconia, work has already begun buying toys for all ages, coming up with new ideas of how to build the village, and working on fundraising in order to keep the tradition moving forward. Now, therefore, today, as we celebrate the long history of Christmas Village in Laconia, I ask all citizens to join with us in extending our heartfelt thanks to the countless volunteers for making sure this magical tradition continues in our community. Given under my hand and the seal of the City of Laconia this 23rd day of December in the year of our Lord, 2024. Signed by myself, Andrew J. Hosmer. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
For everything. Thank you. Thank you.
Easy.
I was from Bob Hamill, right?
There you
It was
go.
Bob Hamill,
There
always
you
liked
go.
you, right?
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Coming back next year?
I am.
All right.
Merry Christmas, guys.
I'm gonna find other other people to come, because I had to.
You're
schedule-
all welcome.
How about we all stand over here? Come on, slide it. Should get a little picture maybe on, come in here, right by the.
Maybe the other side.
If you don't want the cords, come this way.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what I'll do.
Climb over the cord.
Maybe the council can join us somehow here tonight too?
Move around here.
Yeah. Get in here nice and snug.
the speakers too.
All right.
Thank you.
I hold that to work we go.
That's right.
That was my other duties.
Thank you.
Next thing you know, you'll want a pay raise.
Yes, it's good.
You're more than welcome to
That's great.
stay now.
I'm
Room
gonna
will be-
I know you, I know. I promise. I promise. I know, I know. I promise. I'll get it done.
Notice they never want to stay. All right. Thanks, Kirk.
Yep. Other duties as assigned.
Yes.
City photographer.
Well done. All right. Agenda item number 9, citizens' comments for matters not on the agenda. If you are here to speak, I'll give you 30 seconds to speak. Hello.
Well,
Patrick.
hello, Mr. Mayor,
45 seconds
councilors.
because it's you.
Patrick Wood.
That's a Christmas gift, being only 45
I
seconds.
just wanted to, first of all, say, having been the mayor at one point for the Santa's Village, it is one of the most magical experiences ever. And so I think the proclamation is great, but 50 years, now we need to plan something really special for next year, all of us. So thanks for the proclamation and recognition for Santa's Village. I'm the chairman of the Human Relations Committee. Just wanted to let you know that we have our annual Martin Luther King commemoration event scheduled for the 19th of January. That's a Sunday. It'll be at 1 o'clock at the Colonial Theater. It'll be approximately 2 hours long. You're all invited to be there. Also, we've expanded the program somewhat. We have a movie that we're going to be showing on Saturday evening in the library, the 18th of January, and again on Saturday, the 25th. I believe those evening meetings will be 7 o'clock, but I'll get more information to you all on that. The subject of our meeting is a doctor and his family from Keene. And they moved to Keene in the 1930s. And he built a substantial medical practice and was very successful and very well regarded in the community. During World War II, he volunteered to serve in the Navy, thinking that he could serve as a medical officer or doctor in the Navy. But when they did a background check on this doctor, they found that he was really not white, but was actually African American. And the Navy, in all of its wisdom at that point, said, no, we can't hire you as a doctor. You can be a cook or something like that. And of course, he was devastated, went back to Keene, thinking that his whole life had been ruined by this. On the other hand, what happened, however, is the citizens of Keene stood up for him, the hospital stood up for him, and he continued a very successful practice. But it was a very difficult and traumatic experience. So we're going to learn more about that on the 19th. And on the 18th and the 25th, there's a movie that was actually made about this doctor. And that movie will be shown at the library those 2 evenings. Again, 7 o'clock at the library, 1 o'clock Colonial Theater on the 19th. So you're all welcome to attend them. There will be discussion after the movie, and hopefully a lot of interesting things will come out of it. So that's my invitation to you all for this evening, and hope you can make it. I'm sure that you all will do your best to be there. I appreciate it. So thank you all, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Patrick. Merry Christmas to you as well. And Jane.
Thank you.
Moving right along to no interviews, no public hearings, no presentations, the mayor's report. I would just like to say we have what I think is a really terrific event coming up on December 31st, 2024 to benefit the Belknap Mill, which we know has a historic structure here in the city. It's known as New Hampshire's Meeting Place. It is starting its exciting, I guess this would be the 3rd century now it started. And we're having the annual, first time we've ever done this, but it will hopefully be an annual, Mayor's New Year's Eve Ball to benefit the Belknap Mill. It goes from 8 until midnight. There is food, music, libations, good company, good conversation, and we'll be doing it at the mill. So I would encourage people to take a look at the website, belknapmill.org. And if you're interested in going, we would love to have you there. It should be a nice community event that evening. You don't have to stay until midnight either. At midnight, though, we will ring the bells of the mill, which is a rare occurrence here to celebrate the 2025 being ushered in. I'll look to council comments right now, if any councilors would like to make comments.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just quickly, I'd like to thank the city manager and the staff. The recognition luncheon was fantastic, as usual. Our employee of the year, well-deserved, and quite a secret that was kept. And the other thing is that some of us got to meet some of the new police officers who attended the luncheon, and I was impressed with the job Lieutenant Noyes has done with them. They were very sociable. They were very anxious to work here, and my congratulations, and for a job well done as far as Lieutenant Noyes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And we know she's watching at home.
Yes,
Laconia's Employee of the Year
she's-
is Nancy Brown. Congratulations, well-deserved. Nicely done. Any other council comments? Councilor Felch.
So, a little over a week ago, we had the children's auction in Pubmania. So I want to shout out to the board of directors, everybody that has anything to do with the children's auction. There's tons of volunteers, the Beatles, and everybody that has anything to do with Pubmania. We had a banner year. The top Pubmania team, Cafe Deja Vu, raised almost $42,000. Pubmania and the challenge teams raised $386,722. And the total for the children's auction itself was $763,334. All that money will go to 60 to 70 children's charities throughout the Lakes region. Anybody that is interested in looking into anything to do with the children's auction, just go to childrensauction.org. It'll tell you where all the money goes and everything that we do. Thank you.
Tony, thank you for the work that you and the whole team of people do. It's remarkable what goes on in this community. That on the heels of our Christmas Village and and our Christmas parade and things like that. It's whenever I think of the children's auction, I smile when I think of Warren Bailey sitting in the parking lot at the old Laconia Athletic and Swim Club in a van, all by himself, kicking it off. How many years ago now? 35, 36?
43.
43, okay, yeah.
40, yep.
That's incredible. How much has been raised over the years? Do you have any idea?
It's on the website. I think we're pushing around $8 million.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Any other council comments?
I hate almost to step up. 'cause everything
No,
else
you
is
don't.
nice.
No, you don't.
You should see the
You
list.
don't.
See the list.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a list, but the manager and I have talked, and some of this I'm putting off to another time. I did want to bring up two things. One is roller coaster in 106, and the manager and I did have a brief discussion about it, but I want to say something to the council. I read the Supreme Court decision. It talks about the fact that prior to 2004, 10-plus letters have been sent to the owner of that property asking him to clean it up. In 2019, we had a preliminary injunction issued. In 2021, we had a trial, and he was ordered to register or repair the vehicles there. The city in March of '22 asked for reconsideration, the results of which was the city was awarded $275 a day for every day he doesn't fix that. And on 10/23, the Supreme Court ruled in the city's favor, including attorney fees, which he argued vociferously he shouldn't have to pay. I bring all of that up to say we need to, the city, through its attorneys, needs to move on this project. It's been languishing, and I think it also tells other people, well, you don't have to worry because the city doesn't really go after you. We're talking about 2004, when the first court issues were held. Or, I'm sorry, when the notice of 10-plus letters were identified, to now 2024, the end of 2024, and we're still dealing with that same situation.
What's the next step look like, if you know?
We're gonna end up, working through the attorneys, but at some point, we're gonna have the ability to clean it up and charge and lien the property. So we had to go through all these steps. It took too long to get to all these steps, but that is back on our attorney's desk now. I worked with planning today on that. So what I was planning on doing is at the next meeting, I'll give you a full update with where
Okay,
we stand and
that's
all
great.
that. But
Great.
And I appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to briefly mention today, and day and a half before Christmas, probably sounds like a terrible time to bring this up. I've reviewed the welfare guidelines, and on page 17 of the guidelines, it talks about a workfare program. There are some of us here who are old enough to remember Bert Morin, who was the welfare director back in 1492, who had a cadre of city, of welfare recipients who did cleanup around the city all the time to help reimburse the city for their welfare. I was hoping I could ask the manager and the fiscal officer to let the council know at the next meeting if there's any way we can reinstitute that program and get some of these folks to pitch in. And there are plenty of pickup and cleanup jobs that can be done. Morin had them report every morning, and he drove them out to wherever and I don't expect the fiscal officer to do that, but I'm sure we can find somebody that can get that process. And maybe it can't be done. I just would like a report on that if I could ask that. And with that, I'll wish everyone a Merry Christmas and shut up.
I have my,
Counselor Susan.
the first item on my list is the status on Concord Hospital, Laconia. Where are we? What is gonna be our next step? I know they sent us a letter, might say, I don't know where that went or didn't go anywhere, but what is our next step? And I thought we were gonna do something with the Attorney General's office.
yeah, I haven't had a chance to get any answers back from them. Still trying to put that together and to work with the right attorney down there. I did work with an independent attorney, like I talked about, outside of the area. Didn't really I got direction, but it wasn't, a positive in what you're looking to do. But, so I don't have an answer out of the AG's office. I can continue to work on that.
Thank you.
Yep.
You have two things, you say?
No, that's.
Just one?
that's-
Okay, all right. Counselor Bogert, do you have something?
No, I'm all good, thank you.
All right, committee reports, liaison reports.
Yes, I do. Just quickly, Mayor.
Sure.
Public Works met on the issue of Howard Street, and after looking at all kinds of variable solutions, we came to the decision temporarily we're going to signage the corner of Howard Street near the brick front and see if that will resolve the problem.
Excellent, excellent. Any other council reports, liaison reports, committee reports? Seeing none, I want to go back to agenda item number 7A, which is the city council regular meeting minutes of December 9th, 2024. Minutes of the city council meeting of December 9th were distributed to members of the city council on December 13th. One minor correction to the minutes was made, and the revised minutes were redistributed to the council shortly thereafter. With no additional corrections or changes submitted to the clerk, the minutes will be accepted as distributed. Agenda item number 19, citizens request to comment on current agenda items. If there's a current agenda item you would like to speak to, now would be the appropriate time. Look over to the city manager's report right now.
Yep, nope, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not gonna read through all three of these, but you have three reports in here. First one is financial operational trends. I'm just gonna make, one quick note on it, or two notes on it, I should say. The building permits are, moving forward. We've had quite a busy year with building permits, and we're up to where we were about 2 years ago. This one goes through April 1st or March 31st, so that's, we've still got a little bit of time on that. Bottom of page one, the welfare expense, we've spent $100,000, there was 70 budgeted, but with the move we made last week at the ARPA, at least we'll take care of some of it this year, and moving forward into next year's budget that we're in the process of preparing right now. We are working to hopefully address the downfall so we don't run into that every year. The last page of it, I'll skip all the way over there. You'll see the storm cost. This gets us through November. Even though they've been busy, they've been out quite a bit. At least through November, they financially were doing well. December hasn't been too bad. Although they have had a few call-outs this December, so far, as long as we're going through, winter storm maintenance is doing very well. Conia project update. I'm not gonna read through all of these. Nothing's really changed. The only thing I'll make a comment on is on the last page. We've talked about this for a while, the Weirs Beach restoration. I do have a meeting with, Parks and Rec Director and DES, on January 3rd. So I think we're gonna be able to get a lot of our questions answered and really get, at least starting with how our plan moving forward should go, as far as the beach restoration part of it. So, it's taken a long time to get to this point, but that's a good thing that we're with them, and we'll be meeting with them, at the end of next week. Lastly, the economic development report, the only thing on here is on page 2. You'll note that, the CPIU did tick up, last month, but our annualization is just under 3%. So barring anything changes, we're gonna be in that probably 2.95, 2.94 range for our CPI number, which it factors in as one piece of our factor, for the tax cap calculation. So, that number we'll know in a month, and the building construction one we'll know in a couple of months. So, no big surprises. We knew it'd be right around 3%, and looks like it may be just a hair under, so. That's something specific, or I can go back to anything that was in there if you need to.
I think Counselor Susie has a question for you.
Sure. The report that I had, Mr. Mayor, so you know, I asked from the Finance Committee side of things, I asked the city manager to put together a report that would show, for example, the last 5 years of we take our tax rate, we break it down from the school, the state, the county, and the city. And then put that against what the valuation is that we've seen for the increases. And the bottom line, you have a copy?
I don't have everybody yet, because you asked me for it, so I wanted
Right.
you to see it
I didn't know if you had a
before I
copy,
shared it.
okay.
I have it with me.
But I'll make sure
Yeah.
that we get everybody to the council. What it shows is that even with the increases that we've seen overall from both valuation, the city portion, which the only part that we really control, okay, has gone down over the last 5 years. think the number was 32%?
No, 28%.
28%.
28.8%, yep.
And so I just want to bring that up. I'm hoping, because I know I've received some questions from some of the taxpayers. Why my taxes keep going up? Why my taxes going up? Well, it's valuation, is what it is. But the actual results of what we control here at this council over the 5 years has actually gone down. So I think we've done a very commendable job for things that we can do. And, you know, I'm hoping somehow we can put something together. Maybe we want to show the public what we've been able to do and what we're doing our jobs of doing that. So that was the reason behind it. See what the trend was and how your valuation's gone up, sure, because now a house that you might have sold $200,000 5 years ago, you're gonna look for 400 today or 450. That's just natural market, you know, supply and demand. There's nothing much we can do about that, but the overall tax rate that we control at this body has actually gone down.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Counselor Susie.
That's all I have.
Okay, any other questions for the city manager? Seeing none, let's move along to new business, which is agenda item number 21, Resolution 2024-29, relative to acceptance of an award, the amount of $10,680 from the Department of Safety, Homeland Security Grant Program for the purchase of SWAT SOU equipment for the Laconia Police Department. The entire cost of this equipment is covered by Homeland Security grant. There is no local match. There's a series of 3 motions right here. The first motion we're looking for is to move to waive a reading of Resolution 2024-29 in its entirety and to read by title only. So made by Counselor Haynes, seconded by Counselor Cheney. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Cheney?
Yes?
Counselor Susie?
Yes.
Counselor Hoffman?
Yes.
Counselor Haynes?
Yes.
Counselor Bogart?
Yes,
Counselor Felch?
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, that motion passes. Second on this, looking for a motion to move a first reading of Resolution 2024-29 relative to acceptance of an award in the amount of $10,680 from the Department of Homeland Security Grant Program for the purchase of SWAT SOU equipment for the Laconia Police Department. So made by Counselor Hoffman, seconded by Counselor Cheney. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Cheney?
Yes?
Counselor Susie?
Yes.
Counselor Hoffman?
Yes.
Counselor Haynes?
Yes.
Counselor Bogart?
yes,
Counselor Felch?
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, that motion passes. And finally, on this matter, looking for a motion to move to schedule a public hearing on January 13th, 2025, during the regular city council meeting for Resolution 2024-29 relative to acceptance of an award in the amount of $10,680 from the Department of Homeland Security Grant Program for the purchase of SWAT SOU equipment and for the Laconia Police Department to gather public input prior to any action being taken. So made by Counselor Cheney, seconded by Counselor Haynes. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Cheney?
Yes?
Counselor Susie?
Yes.
Counselor Hoffman?
Yes.
Counselor Haynes?
Yes.
Counselor Bogart?
yes,
Counselor Felch?
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, that motion passes. Thank you for your notice on your attendance on January 13th as well, Counselor Susie.
Thank you.
21B, proposed amendment to the wage and compensation plan. In accordance with the authority outlined in Section 6:02 of the Laconia City Charter and Section 1.4 of the city's classification and compensation plan, City manager is submitting the following amendment to the city's wage and compensation plan. The amendments will automatically take effect unless vetoed by a majority vote of the city council within 30 days of December 23rd, 2024. The amendment is as follows. Adding the new position of community paramedic to grade 22 of the wage and compensation plan. The fiscal impact is $158,658.04 up to $193,858.62. The city manager recommends approving the proposed amendment to the wage and compensation plan. City manager, could you just discuss that for a second?
Yep, so this is, any adjustment we make to the wage and compensation plan gets posted for the employees to see, who are also included in that. They can weigh in on it one way or the other. I did not receive any comments. And this fiscal impact number here is covered by the grant, and it includes everything, benefits, workers' comp, and at the high end. So we assume a family plan, we assume that we're gonna start them at the top step, all those things when we factor in these numbers. So we know that it'll be below that, but it'll all be covered by the grant.
Was this part of the MIH grant that we
Yes.
had last week,
Correct.
2 weeks ago? Good.
Yep.
Counselor Susie.
Is this for one person?
Yes.
So, that'll be that person's salary?
No, that includes benefits, health insurance, workers' comp, everything.
Vehicle, the whole bit?
What's that?
Vehicle and all the supplies and everything?
Nope, this is everything to do with salaries, but with, like I said, the health insurance plan's almost
Right.
40 grand on its own.
How does this salary compare to our other paramedics that we have today?
It would be a little bit higher than the ones that are probably working right now. But it's an additional certification, and it's also in a different retirement group. So it's
Okay.
not so they're not getting the same retirement. So there's pros and cons or weight either way. So
Okay, thank you.
So right now, I'd be looking for a motion to move to approve the proposed amendment to the wage and compensation plan as presented, which will take effect January 1st, 2025. So made by Counselor Susie, seconded by Counselor Cheney. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Cheney?
Yes?
Counselor Susie?
Yes.
Counselor Hoffman?
Yes.
Counselor Haynes?
Yes.
Counselor Bogart?
Yes.
Counselor Felch?
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, that motion passes. This concludes our formal agenda this evening. We will be going into a non-public session in regards to, the reason it's a non-public session, following the guidance of RSA 91-A:3, Roman 2, consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property which, if discussed in public, would likely benefit a party or parties whose interests are adverse to those of the general community. When we return from non-public session, it will only be to adjourn the meeting. There will be no further business taken up at that time. So,
While we're waiting for them to leave, Mr. Mayor, I would like to point out with regards to this wage amendment, my first week as a police officer, I was paid $80. We've come a long way.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Oh, God.
yeah.
But you also bought a house for
What was that?
$19,000.
$19,000.
So I'd like a vote, I'd like a vote to go into non-public session right now. Is there,
I move.
Second.
Counselor Cheney, Counselor Susie, 1 and 2. Ask the clerk to call the roll.
Counselor Cheney?
Yes?
Susie?
Yes.
Counselor Hoffman?
Yes.
Counselor Haynes?
Yes.
Counselor Bogart?
Yes.
Counselor Felch?
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative. We are now entering